Hinduism. As a husband, he doesn't mind being stamped by his angry wife to calm her down. At the same time, he can push his wife into the greatest ecstasies and move into a very beautiful dance with her. He can sometimes be so blind to devotion that is shown to him that he can even bless asuras with such power that he has to run from them to save his own life. He sometimes can be found wandering as a madman, begging for alms. He could be found in crematoriums. He could also be found in snow peaks. What a god. And Shivaratri is a celebration of this cosmic divine. And let us together explore the mysteries of Shiva further. Namaste. Shiva can be seen as a cosmic principle. Shiva can be seen as one of the key deities in the Hindu pantheon. Shiva can also be seen as a depiction of an enlightened consciousness. Today, I would like to explore the third of these, Shiva as a representation of a totally enlightened being. Shiva adorns himself with ashes from the crematoriums, but is also seen spending joyful time with his wife and 2 sons. What does this symbolize? The ashes represents the death of all cravings and attachments. He has no craving for wealth, for position, for power, or for love. He is not hungry for any desire. It is because he needs nothing, he becomes capable of such loving presence as a husband and as a father. Also, Shiva, who is the god of death, is the husband of Shakti, who is the animator of living beings. Does it feel like a contradiction to you? It is not. Death and life are inseparable to the enlightened. In every moment is death of the old, it is the birth of the new. Shiva and Shakti is an extraordinary symbol of this unity. Om Bhasmangaya Namaha. Om Bhasmangaya Namaha. Bhasmangaya Namaha. Shiva is seen serenely riding on a gigantic bull that is subdued. And in every temple of Shiva, before you go to meet Shiva in the sanctum, you have to touch the bull. And the bull represents stubbornness and the haughtiness of the ego. It is the resistance to the flow of life. When we are bullheaded, we question everything. We question why me? Why should this happen to me or to my loved ones? And why now? And this questioning is not a wise inquiry, but it is a resistance. It is a fight against life. Shiva riding over it shows his mastery over ego. And you crossing the bull to the sanctum represents you letting go of all the resistance, you letting go of your fight against life. Om Pashupataye Namaha. Om Pashupataye Namaha. Om Pashupataye Namaha. Shiva wields Damaru as an instrument of choice. Damaru, the hourglass-like drum that is held in hand. Shiva holds it masterfully. It symbolizes Shiva's mastery over time. As an enlightened being, Shiva is in the eternal present. He is not swayed into past, nor does he obsess about the future. Om Trikalaya Namaha. Om Trikalaya Namaha. Om Trikalaya Namaha. Shiva's throat is blue, symbolizing the total activation of his Vishuddhi chakra. Vishuddhi chakra is a blue lotus with 16 petals located in the center of your throat. It is the energy vortex. Shiva's Nilakanta represents a mastery of the power of Vishuddhi, which is being completely at peace with the flow of life. Zero resistance, zero fight, zero questions about life. You are in a total flow. You are in a state of flow, a total surrender. Mastery of the power of Vishuddhi also means mastery over sleep and dreams, mastery over speech and silence. Om Nilakantaya Namaha. Om Nilakantaya Namaha. Om Nilakantaya Namaha. Shiva's third eye represents the total activation of the pineal gland in an enlightened being and the burning of Manmada by opening his third eye. It is no ordinary story. Do you know the story of Shiva burning the god of desire? Let me share it with you in brief. It seems Shiva was a long time ago sitting in the snow peaks of the Himalayas meditating. And suddenly he feels disturbed in his meditation. He feels stirred by a very strong desire for love. So much is the desire that he breaks his meditation and opens his eyes, and he notices the god of desire shooting arrows at him from a place of hiding. Shiva then opens his third eye, burns the god of desire. He burns the god of desire to ashes and continues to meditate. What does this mean? Opening the third eye is the activation of the pineal gland. The activation of the pineal gland is the activation of the Agnya chakra or the third eye chakra, one of the energy vortex. When your Agnya or the pineal gland is activated, you experience intense awareness. And when you turn that awareness to any obsessive desire or obsessive fear, you burn that obsession into ashes. And you return to a state of great equanimity. You achieve mastery over tears, achieve mastery over fears in an enlightened consciousness. Om Trinetraya Namaha. Om Trinetraya Namaha. Om Trinetraya Namaha. Have you noticed Ganga flowing out of Shiva's head? What do you think that is? The fountain of Ganga flowing from the Shiva's head actually shows Kundalini or the latent spiritual energy flowing from the Brahmarandra or the spiritual aperture at the center of the crown. When Kundalini flows out of your Brahmarandra, unimaginable bliss explodes in your consciousness. It is the greatest bliss. It is ecstasy that you could contain in the human body. It is the experience of oneness with all life. Om Gangadharaya Namaha. Om Gangadharaya Namaha. Om Gangadharaya Namaha. Shiva is that strange god who does not adorn himself with any other jewelry other than a poisonous cobra. You find this poisonous cobra around his neck hanging loosely. This is a symbol of the enlightened consciousness. When you are enlightened, the most poisonous mind states of anger, hate, arrogance, lust for power or pleasure, all these states of mind no more carry force. They are held in total awareness and hence totally harmless, like poisonous snakes that refuse to bite. That is why Shiva is Nagabharana. A snake is a symbol of a constant rejuvenation. They shed their old skin, they grow their new skin every few months. An enlightened consciousness is similar. It sheds the past. An enlightened consciousness sheds all emotional charges around the past. And the state of consciousness is ready for ever new experience of life. And that is why Om Nagabharanaya Namaha. Om Nagabharanaya Namaha. Om Nagabharanaya Namaha. We could go on and on about Shiva. One reminder with which I would like to leave you today is that you are Shiva. Shivoham, 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 Shivoham. You have the potential to be the enlightened one. Every one of you has the potential to be Shiva, to become totally liberated beings. And that is why Shivaratri. It is a celebration. It is a reminder of your potential to be enlightened. Shivoham, 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 Shivoham. Namaste. Every ancient civilization revolved around a question. The entire civilization, their culture, their language, the places of worship, their scriptures, their festivals, their laws, everything revolved around a fundamental question. Let us explore the questions explored by our ancients. And let us also explore the questions that we are exploring today. If you look at the ancient Egyptians, the question was, where do I go after death? What happens to me after death? Will my queens, my many wives, husbands, servants, jewelry, my pets, my wealth, will it all come with me? Will my organs come with me into the other worlds? Will the good and the bad I do decide where I will go after death? So believing they will come along, they made sure they carried the precious cargo to their graves. They even carried the most faithful servants to accompany them into the other worlds. That is the Egyptian civilization. If you looked at the Chinese civilization, the question was, why does order move into disorder and disorder move into order? What is the reason for these changing seasons and cycles? Why does life itself move in cycles? That is, fame becomes defame. Bad reputation becomes a good reputation. Closeness becoming distance. Distance becoming proximity. Weak becoming stronger. The strong becoming weaker. Why is this movement? Why can't life be one? That was the question which the Chinese grappled with for centuries in their reflections. That is why the yin and the yang sign, where they realize that everything contains the seed of the opposite. That is, the white consists the seed of the black, and the black consists the seed of the white. The good contains the seed of the bad contains the seed of the good. Separation contains the seed of the union, and union contains the seed of separation. And therefore, everything moves in cycles, one emerging into the other. To them, life was about maintaining this harmony without allowing it to swing to extremes. Do you want to know what the question of the modern civilization is? Modern civilization is also based on a question. And the question is, how do I make maximum profit in the least amount of time with least effort possible? And how do I maximize the pleasure with the money I make? So if you look around you, don't you see this in every billboard, in every advertisement? You see this reflected in the thoughts of people of all age groups. If you look at the entire structure of modern civilization, you will find that this is the underlying question. There is an incredible amount of greed. And it has become very common to see young people and adults not focused on developing a skill, not focused on learning, not focused on making a difference as a way to live and way to rise, but constantly focused on how to become a billionaire overnight. To straightaway land an opportunity that will get them, say, a private jet, an opportunity for world travel. And this modern civilization is a global phenomenon. That is why the question of how to make the most profit in the least amount of time with absolutely minimal effort has gripped every nation of the world. And all for what? To have maximum pleasure. That is it. It is very shocking to see that maximizing pleasure has become the purpose of the majority. Is this question shaping your life? If it is so, please know that it would be a disaster. Look into yourself. Ancient Indians had a very different question. People who lived in the land between the Indus and the Saraswati rivers explored a question that no other civilization in the world explored. The entire Hindu civilization for thousands of years explored one single question. The question was, who am I who is thinking the thought? The question was, who is the I that is seeing the starlight? The question was, who is the I that is aware of being aware? They went through a process of intense inquiry for several generations. Sages with their disciples, with their meditations, with their discussions, with their inquiries. They inquired, am I the body? They dismissed it, because they saw that the body they had as a child does not exist today. The body they had as a young person does not exist today. The body they had as a middle-aged person does not exist today. The body of an aged person too is bound to decay. You know how wise these people were? They called the body Sharira. You know, Sharira means that which dissolves, that which changes shape. The word itself, Sharira itself, is a reminder that this dissolving entity is not the real I. And through this entire process of change and decay, in the higher states of consciousness that they experienced an unchanging consciousness that held all these experiences, a consciousness that remained unchanging. Unchanging whether one slept, one dreamt, or was awake. So they knew they were definitely more than the body. They questioned, am I all the experiences I'm having in the wakeful state? Am I the anger, the fear, the love, the pleasure, the satiation? And they dismissed these experiences arising in thought, because these experiences too, they saw, arise and cease. But yet there was something more that experienced these experiences. They asked, am I these identities that I assume when I come into a position, into a relationship, when I come into a possession of a property? And they dismissed that also, because positions come and go. People walk into your life and walk out of your life. Possessions come in and go. They are yours today. Tomorrow they are somebody else. How can the identity built on position and possession and people be true self? But there still was an underlying consciousness that was experiencing all this. Finally, they came upon a brain-shattering experience. They saw that they were not the observed. Anything they observed, they were not that. They were the observing consciousness. They realized, I am consciousness that is unchanging, that is untouched, untouched by the ups and downs of life, unchanging with whatever may get added to me or taken away from me from my life. And they realized they are that consciousness. And the nature of that consciousness they called Sat-Chit-Ananda. Sat, they called it pure existence. They called it existence because it is the same existence that is in me, that is in the tree, that is in the star, that is in the sky. It is one unitary existence. And that one single existence, one unitary field of consciousness, they said that I am that unitary field of consciousness. Chit, they saw that this existence, this unitary field of consciousness is intelligent. It is sentient. That sentient intelligence that exists in all creation, they saw that I am. And finally, they recognized the nature of this consciousness as Ananda or bliss, causeless, nameless bliss. And they said, that bliss I am. Bliss is an experience you can only know when you experience it, when you feel it. Bliss is not an experience that happens to you because you're pursuing your passion, or because you're fulfilling your life's dream, or because things are going well for you. Please know bliss is an experience that arises when you're not pursuing anything. You're not even chasing bliss. When there is stillness of energy, that undiluted energy is bliss. It is not a momentary high. It is when your consciousness is untouched by suffering of any kind. And this bliss is the true nature of consciousness. This is who I am. It is not what comes to me or what gets taken away from me. This bliss I am. This bliss is who you are.